Michael Scofield was a man known for his intelligence, precision, and icy calmness. By day, he was a brilliant structural engineer who built skyscrapers, but behind his sharp suits and quiet demeanor was a storm of desperation. His older brother, Lincoln Burrows, had been sentenced to death for the murder of the vice president's brother. The world believed Lincoln was guilty, but Michael knew the truth. His brother had been framed. As the execution date loomed closer, Michael realized ordinary appeals or lawyers could never save Lincoln. The conspiracy against him reached the highest offices of power. If Lincoln stayed in Fox River Penitentiary, he would die. So Michael made a choice most would call insane. He would break his brother out. He committed an armed robbery, fully intending to be caught. Calmly, he stood before the judge and requested to serve his sentence at Fox River, the same prison where Lincoln awaited death. What no one knew was that Michael had a master plan. The entire blueprint of Fox River Prison was tattooed across his body, disguised within elaborate designs. His skin was a map to freedom. Inside the prison, Michael's mind worked like a machine. Every corridor, every locked door, every guard schedule, he had already studied it. But Fox River was no place for a genius outsider. The yard was ruled by ruthless gangs, predators, and hardened criminals. To survive, Michael had to play a dangerous game, making alliances without becoming too dependent, keeping secrets while gaining trust. He first approached Sucre, his cellmate, a man longing for the woman he left behind. Michael promised him freedom. Then came Fernando Sucre, Theodore Teabag Bagwell, a manipulative predator, and John Abruzzi, a mafia boss with connections Michael needed. Each alliance came with a cost, loyalty to men he neither liked nor trusted. And yet, all of them were pieces of the same puzzle. The prison wasn't just steel and concrete, it was alive, breathing, unpredictable. Michael's plan was brilliant, but it was fragile. A single mistake, a single suspicious glance from the warden or a guard, and it would all collapse. Still, every night as he lay in his cell, Michael whispered one silent promise to himself: "I will not let my brother die." The clock was ticking. Execution day drew closer, and Michael had only weeks to turn an impossible dream into reality. Inside Fox River, Michael's calculated moves began to attract attention. He requested a job in the prison infirmary, knowing it gave him access to the one place that connected to the escape route. There, he met Dr. Sara Tancredi, the kind-hearted prison doctor. At first, she saw him as another inmate, another lost soul. But Michael's gentle manner, sharp mind, and quiet charm disarmed her. Slowly, a fragile bond began to form between them, something Michael hadn't planned but couldn't avoid. Meanwhile, outside prison walls, Veronica Donovan, Lincoln's ex-girlfriend and lawyer, was digging into the case. What she uncovered was terrifying. Lincoln had been framed by a shadowy group known as the Company, a powerful organization with political influence and ruthless assassins. They wanted Lincoln silenced permanently. Back inside, Michael's alliances grew more dangerous. Abruzzi demanded respect and leverage. Teabag, unpredictable and cunning, threatened to ruin everything if Michael didn't include him in the plan. Each man wanted something, and Michael had to juggle promises like a chess master. But Michael also faced suspicion from Warden Pope and the cold, sharp-eyed Captain Bellick. Both men sensed there was something unusual about this calm, intelligent inmate who seemed too precise. One wrong move in front of them could destroy everything. The pressure was suffocating. At night, Michael carved holes, removed screws, and mapped escape routes while hiding his intentions. By day, he endured the brutal politics of prison life. The weight of time pressed down. Lincoln's execution was only days away. Michael's secret tattoos guided him, but he began realizing something chilling. His plan, so perfect on paper, was colliding with reality. People weren't predictable, alliances were fragile, and emotions, especially with Sarah, were dangerous. He hadn't accounted for the human heart. Still, he pushed forward, each step riskier than the last. The escape was no longer just about breaking Lincoln free. It was about surviving the growing storm of enemies both inside and outside the prison. The night of the escape came like a thunderstorm, chaotic, tense, filled with unseen dangers. Michael's team of unlikely allies gathered, each man clutching his own reason for risking it all. Sucre for love, Abruzzi for power, Teabag for survival, Lincoln for his very life. Michael guided them through tunnels, corridors, and hidden routes, every turn calculated, every step a heartbeat closer to freedom. But in a place like Fox River, nothing ever went smoothly. Guards changed shifts early. Doors that were supposed to be unlocked jammed shut. The walls themselves seemed to fight back. At one point, they nearly lost everything when a guard stumbled upon them. A desperate distraction saved the plan, but it left them shaken. Michael's calm leadership was the only thing holding them together. And then came betrayal. Teabag, cunning as ever, tried to manipulate events for himself. His selfishness endangered the whole group. But Michael, cold and determined, kept moving. There was no room for hesitation. Lincoln's life was slipping away with every passing second. As they crawled through a final stretch of pipe, filthy, exhausted, and gasping for air, freedom lay just beyond the walls. They broke through into the night, their lungs filling with the sweet air of liberty. But freedom wasn't clean. They were fugitives now, hunted, dangerous, and exposed. Sirens wailed behind them, dogs barked, flashlights cut through the night. The men scattered into the darkness, each carrying the scars of what they had endured inside. Michael and Lincoln didn't just break out of Fox River. They had broken into a much larger prison, the wide-open world controlled by the company. Outside Fox River, the escapees' journey turned even more perilous. The world wasn't waiting with open arms. It was a battlefield of betrayals, shifting loyalties, and relentless hunters. The FBI, led by the brilliant Agent Mahone, pursued them with merciless precision. Mahone was different from other lawmen. He thought like Michael, dissected clues like a fellow architect of strategy. It became a deadly game of chess, Michael's mind against Mahone's. Meanwhile, the company tightened its grip. Their power reached into government offices, courtrooms, and even the media. Lincoln wasn't just an escaped convict. He was still the key to a secret they wanted buried forever. The fugitives struggled to stay united. Trust frayed. Some sought redemption, others only survival. Michael bore the crushing responsibility of leadership, constantly sacrificing pieces of himself to keep Lincoln safe. But amid the chaos, there were moments of humanity. Michael's connection with Sarah deepened, turning into a fragile love built on stolen moments. Lincoln, hardened by years of injustice, softened when he saw how far his brother would go for him. Every victory came at a cost. Friends were lost, betrayals cut deep, and death followed them like a shadow. But Michael refused to stop. His genius, his resolve, and his love for Lincoln carried them forward. In the end, Prison Break wasn't just about escaping walls of steel. It was about escaping fate, fighting systems built to crush men, and proving that loyalty and sacrifice could outmatch the cruelest conspiracies. Michael Scofield had entered Fox River with a plan. What he didn't realize was that the real prison awaited outside, and breaking free would cost him everything.